Greetings, YTPC. It's Peter Piper, the True Light, coming to you from the deck. And it is 1832 hours Eastern Standard Time, minus 5 hours Greenwich Mean Time for my global subscribers. Smoking the Joe's Bent apple, and in it I am smoking Gawith and Hogarth Balkan mixture. Excellent. I love Balkan blends. And this is a VR to Uncle Phil's Cellar for his 1,000 sub GAW. And I am a new subscriber. I wasn't aware of his channel until all the responses I've seen to it. I mean, £100 British sterling. Good God. Of course. Yeah, I'm now a subscriber. And for the, I think he said if you want 3 entries into his GAW, you had to tell everyone in the community something about yourself that none of you know. Okay. So, presently, I'm an engineer with a master's degree in electrical engineering, but it wasn't always that. That was not always the case. I got my bachelor's degree when I was 33 years old, started late, and even later than that, at the age of 61, I got my master's degree in electrical engineering. But before that, I joined the Navy at 17 years old. It was I joined the Navy in March, and that year in 1974 I turned 18, and I turned 18 in boot camp, so I wasn't even an adult by any stretch of the imagination when I joined the Navy, and I had to get my mother's signature to join the Navy as a minor. When I got out of the Navy in 1976, I was 20 years old, and I was unemployed for a year. I was able to collect unemployment because back then, if you were discharged from from active duty and you didn't have a job to go to, you could collect unemployment. I don't think that's the case now. And I was unemployed for a year, and at the time, Jimmy Carter was president of the United States, and he had a program called CETA, CETA, which was the Comprehensive Employment and Training Act. And for people that were unemployed, they could train and obtain a trade. I think I was inspired to tell this story by Newton Piper, who mentioned that he was a bricklayer, and that is what you might consider to be a blue-collar job. So I entered the blue-collar world at that time, and I trained to be a machinist. First, I trained on a turret lathe, and didn't do too well on that, so they flunked me out of the turret lathe uh, folks, and I went and learned how to operate a drill press and do drilling, reaming, tapping, and various machining operations. And I went to a I went to work for a company called the Brown and Sharp Manufacturing Company, which is a company that started during the birth years of the Industrial Revolution in 1833. It's one of the oldest companies in America. It no longer exists. It was bought out by a company called Hexagon, which was a Swiss-owned company. But I still have my Brown and Sharp micrometer in this handsome wooden case. And they were one of the first companies in the United States to design micrometers. And I'll show it to you. It's any mechanical engineer would understand how to use this. It basically measures dimensions to the thousandths of the inch, and even tenths of the thousandths of the inch, as far as the resolution is concerned. You can measure a strand of your hair, and to see how thick your hair is with this, or a piece of paper, as it were. So, what does the thousandths of an inch look like? Well, I'm not sure you can see it or not, but if I can just focus the light properly, that is 1/1000th of an inch. So I learned how to do precision machining, and it was not an easy go. I later worked my way up to a machine assembler, of coordinate measuring machines, and learned how to lap stone to a perfect flatness to within a tenth of a thousandth of an inch, 0.0001, and that was a craft. It was something that doesn't require an enormous amount of intellectual capacity, but it was a skill. And the evolution of my career proceeded from that. I always wanted to get back into electrical engineering, and I took a correspondence course, and later earned a first-class FCC license. In the United States, the FCC is the Federal Communications Commission, and I learned how to operate commercial radio and television broadcast stations, and earned that license with the knowledge from that correspondence course. And there were several events that took place. The Brown and Sharp Manufacturing Company was a union. The labor or the trades were labor union with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, and we went on strike twice when I was at the company. The first time was, I believe, in in 1979. Yes, 1979. The strike lasted, I think, 3 days. We got called back. We negotiated a contract with company management. However, in 1981, we had a nasty strike, which lasted, which is the longest running strike in in American labor history. During the strike, I was able to work at an electronics company that made telephone transmission equipment. So that was my big break. I made much less money, but I was able to engage in the profession that was dear to my heart. And Brown and Sharp eventually negotiated with the union that the strikers could come back to work. They could cross the picket line and return to work. And I worked there for a year and decided that I was disinterested in the work that I was doing, and I wanted to go to college, and I quit working. My wife was working at the time. I owned a house. I was making mortgage payments, and I went to college at the tender age of 29 and graduated at the age of 33 as an electrical engineer with a bachelor's degree. But those roots in the blue-collar world taught me much wisdom and much skill. And I guess I'll just leave it at that. So that's my VR. I used to be a machine. I wouldn't call myself a machinist. Machinists are guys that are highly talented, that can machine metal to very high tolerances. And I did that, I think. But my talent was restricted to drilling, reaming, tapping, and so forth, and machine assembly. But I really cherish the experience that I got during those years. I learned a lot of skills with regard to just using tools and being able to build things. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a much freer lifestyle. Didn't have anywhere near the responsibility that I have now. But it was great. It was great. It was a great learning experience, and part of my background and heritage that I relish. So with that, I think I'm going to fill another bowl of this Balkan blend and call it a day for this video. So be honest, speak the truth, seek enlightenment. And God bless. Peter Piper the True Light signing off.